Officially 5 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you all for being here today. I think we have quorum, so we are ready to get started. First order of business is approval of last meeting's minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, PJ. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Zach. Is there any further discussion? Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the minutes are approved. Old business, I don't think we have any. New business, first case is DR 2114, request for design approval, CD Downtown Zoning District. Installation of new signage at 111 West 2nd Street, Acme Sign Company Incorporated. Petitioner on behalf of Doubletree Hotel. We have someone here representing them. Welcome. You want to come forward and present to?
I was going to let Matt talk. Matt's got all the.
Matt's got the floor?
Yeah,
All right.
Matt can give you a brief overview, and then if you have any other questions, you can absolutely bring up the petitioner.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, so the Radisson Hotel downtown is being rebranded into a Doubletree Hotel by Hilton. So the proposed package is to remove all the Radisson signs on the building and site and then replace it with a similar sign, but with the Doubletree Hotel signage and branding. So there's a total of 7 different signs. 6 of them are wall-mounted, either in channel letters or a graphic face. They will be replaced with a one similar in square footage and size. And then the one monument sign along 2nd Street will be rebranded into the Doubletree Hotel signage. So there you could see the Doubletree sign proposed on the top floor of the south-facing facade. So that's the side that faces the river. These are the signage along the canopy as you drive into the hotel off of 2nd Street. So there's signage that faces the street and then signage that faces west on that canopy as well. So it's a navy blue lettering, similar style and design, same signage type. Signage will be illuminated internally as well.
Some of them are and some of them aren't.
Okay.
The ones that aren't won't be. I think the canopy signs will not be illuminated.
Okay. So the graphic faces will be replaced using the same sign structure. So same area and dimensions. So navy blue background with white lettering. So the downtown design guidelines recommend having a dark background with light lettering. So this package is consistent with those design guidelines. The guidelines also recommend that signs fit within the proportions of the facade, thereby maintaining the architectural quality of the building design. And then the monument and ground signs are appropriate when placed in landscaping with colors and materials that are replicated on the building. And the proposed sign package also complies with the city's sign ordinance. So for those reasons, staff is recommending approval in accordance with the submitted sign package.
I guess the one thing I can say is hotels usually sign up for a contract with like Radisson or Holiday Inn or whatever. And after the contract runs out, they either have to refresh to keep the same brand, or they kind of step down a layer as far as quality of hotel. And the Radisson downtown is refreshing and stepping up a brand to Doubletree instead of Radisson. So they would appreciate it if you would approve their sign package.
Thank you, Matt. Does anybody have any further questions, comments, concerns?
I like the idea that they are in the same places as the Radisson signs were. And just a question, is that, DoubleTree uses that particular signage on all of their hotels?
Yes, that logo type is what they do use.
Anyone else? Seems pretty straightforward. Is there any kind of a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Thanks, George. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the signage for DoubleTree, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'll appreciate it.
Yes. We're glad that they're upgrading.
Thank you.
I have an aside related to that hotel from Futures. I've had some experience there. And I noticed that they had a design problem with their initial plumbing. It wasn't to code on all their T branches for their sanitary systems going off into the lavatories in the restrooms. And it's caused an issue of continual augering for drain companies. So I just wanted to, maybe the city could help them get past that issue because it's a huge maintenance issue for their hotel. And I don't think the new hotel coming in by Hilton was aware of it, but it's something that's been ongoing since they designed it and built it. So just for your knowledge, it's an issue. It's an easy thing to fix. All you have to do is go in and break some drywall and put some new pipes in.
Sounds more complicated than easy.
It's easy to make from my man. So just sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
I hope that was not.
FYI.
Yeah.
You guys can take care of that, right? All right, thank you. Can we go back to the agenda, please? Sorry, I didn't bring my. Okay, second case, DR 21-15, request for design approval, CD Downtown Zoning District, installation of a new freestanding sign at 130 West 5th Street, St. Anthony Catholic Church, petitioner.
So St. Anthony's Catholic Church recently purchased the Big Brothers Big Sisters home. So they were an item at last month's meeting with the door replacement. However, this item is for a new freestanding sign outside of the building. So Big Brothers Big Sisters, you may remember, had a large stone engraved, and it was placed over at the southwest corner, so at the intersection of, 5th Street and Main. So that sign's been removed, and what you see on the screen is the proposed sign and panel that will be put in a similar location to the south of the building. So it's a blue sign with white lettering featuring the church logo in gray. The sign is about 15 square feet in size. It's 3 feet tall and 5 feet wide. There you can see the general location will be angled so that way it's more visible to motorists and pedestrians traveling on Main Street. You can see in the photo it's placed over a brick area. That brick will be removed and landscaping will be installed around the sign. So it'll be a mix of boxwood, shrubs, and flowering perennials. So likewise, the downtown design guidelines recommend a darker background with lighter lettering, so it meets that standard. And then the building itself is historic, it's on the National Register. So by using a freestanding sign, you preserve kind of that historic character of the building by not doing a wall sign. So for those reasons, staff is recommending approval. We are just adding a condition that the sign be placed 5 feet from the property line. So that would be in accordance with the sign ordinance. But otherwise, it complies with city standards.
Can you go back to the actual picture of the new sign? there another one that shows it in, there you go. All right, and sir, are you here representing,
I'm sorry?
are you here representing the
I
sign?
am. I'm the last one.
Is there anything you'd like to add to the conversation?
No, well, I don't know who took that picture, but that's nice. That's precisely where it would go to get maximum visibility, for people going up Main Street or on Fifth. So at an angle, I think that gives the best representation, for that location. The Big Brothers and Big Sisters, they had their sign, and it's gone now. I don't know who took that out, but it was over by the tree. It would totally obscure the sign. So this gives the best visibility, and because you need, landscaping, they'll just pull out the brick and landscape it after the sign's installed. So it's unlighted, but fabulously made.
Can you go back to that picture, Matt, or whoever's running the computer over there, to the picture of the, there we go. So it is what is the material of the sign?
Aluminum.
All right, does anybody have any questions?
I just had one question. Is it the city's recommendation to have the reverse type, or is it only a recommendation, or is the white lettering on the dark background?
It's just a general guideline.
General guideline?
Yeah. So we have approved ones that are the opposite.
Okay.
So it's not every single time that we request that, but it does make it easier to see.
Well, actually, depending on how large the letters are, it makes it more difficult to see if it's reverse type, if it's white on a dark background as opposed to black type on a lighter.
We'll keep that in mind when we do our design guideline update.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I just have one comment, and it's a really minute detail, but I'm thinking about, the historic nature of this building and the fact that it's on the historic register. And it just seems like the sign doesn't really represent a historic look, other than the fact that it's separate from the building. I'm just wondering if there could be a way to, whether it's the posts being more of a, wrought iron or something, just to make it look a little bit more historic in design.
Good question.
And maybe even if the posts were black rather than blue. Or if there were finials on the top of the post, just something to add a little historic detail
You'll have to
to it.
forgive me. I can't hear all that well. So you were talking about something that's more historic?
Yes, so pull this back. So because the building is historic, that the sign maybe could reflect some of that historic detail. Maybe it's the posts being a little bit more ornate, or if there's a finial on the top, or if they were black rather than blue, just to set it apart a little bit, so it looked a little bit more like a historic sign.
If you recall, I've seen the sign for the previous owner's sign, and I didn't feel that, just to give you a reference, I don't think that was historic looking at all. It was placed in front of the building, but the whole point here, I think, or what they feel, number one, they like the blue. Number two, they like the position because it gives, it doesn't blend in with the building. It gives adequate visibility because that's a hard place. Meaning if you're going to either have to turn or stop or do something. And they felt that would give them all of those benefits.
And I don't have an argument with any of that. I think that's absolutely right. I'm just talking about the detail of the sign itself, and certainly that stone was not in our purview when the Big Brothers Big Sisters put that there. That was not something that came in front of the design review board. We didn't exist at that point in time.
I believe that was done, if you're talking about the brick or the building.
The stone
sign.
sign.
Oh, okay, I can't answer any of those questions.
So anyway, that was just a suggestion that I think it would enhance this. I don't have a problem with the blue. I don't have a problem with any of it other than the fact that it just seems like it could be enhanced a bit if they so chose to put some finials or some kind of decorative piece on those posts to make it look a little more historic.
I think finials would accomplish that. I don't think you want to put anything beneath the sign because of the landscaping. It wouldn't be long and that would overgrow. But finials, I guess that's always, it can be current or it can be historical.
Thank you.
We can make those out of gold.
Whatever you want. Black, I'd be okay with just black. Anybody else have any comments or suggestions or thoughts? All right, is there a motion?
There's no lighting on this sign?
I don't think there was any lighting, correct? No lighting on the
No.
sign?
No, actually, this post right here has LED lighting. So it actually is on the street side, but I think they're bright enough now with LEDs that it'll pose some value as far as illumination. They had thought, can I go over here?
Sure, of course.
They had thought possibly about putting some lighting right here that would shine down on it. Now, this is a single-sided sign, so I'm not sure that it's actually going to do much. It'll actually come from this side. So I'm not sure there's any real benefit to that. But that's really about the only place that they can put it. Anything over here and the street pole and everything, I think that gives it the greatest opportunity for visibility. I'm not sure how long the center is open during the day or what they're planning on. It doesn't necessarily mean you light it if no one was there, but it would be ambient.
Okay.
But if you'd like to see something with finials, we can do that.
I would not recommend projecting light from the building onto the sign. I think you might have some problems with glare on vehicles when you're doing that. So I would not recommend projecting light from the building onto the sign.
Listen, you're removing all the home sites for all of the bugs and all the spiders. So, I mean, right now, as it is, it's just terrible. So I agree with you. I think it would, first of all, Fifth Street isn't real busy. It is busier going east than it is going west. But I think, again, without actually having something there to visually see, there's nothing there presently, would be to drive by and see if you can see the brick. If the brick is lit at night as a result of the LED road sign.
What's the building to be used for?
Oh. We're gonna come
I
closer.
can answer that. It's the educational center for St. Anthony's, so it's a meeting space and classrooms and things like
It's
that.
a learning center.
Yeah.
Would they be having events in the evenings?
They would be able to, yeah.
It seems like for entry and that kind of thing, that the street light itself would be enough light, that additional lighting wouldn't be needed.
I think actually that the entrance is obscured more by the tree than anything.
Isn't there also parking in the back?
Correct.
Yes, I'm not sure how much parking belongs to that building, but they have parking in the back. For street parking, of course.
The lights that they have now for solar lights, the real low ground landscaping lights are pretty nice now. And some tend to be architecturally inclined, so those might be an option. I mean, they don't throw a lot of light, but they're good accent lights.
You know, I tell you, if it's ground mounted, solar, people are gonna be picking at it, they're gonna be moving it around. And you're gonna have the landscaping that's gonna mature and that'll obscure it. So I don't, I do like that idea, but it has to be in a pretty safe area.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move that we approve
Thank you, George.
as is with the finials. Did you call them?
Finials?
Finials, if that's an option, that'd be great.
Did you hear that?
No.
So the motion is to approve the sign with the added finials,
Finials.
if possible?
Oh, sure.
Okay,
I'll second it.
and there's a second?
Does that also include the 5 foot from the property line condition that staff put on?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was a condition. Is it not indicated that way already?
We couldn't tell 100%, so it's just kind of to cover ourselves.
So, you want to add?
Sure, if it's a staff recommendation,
Yeah.
you guys know what you're doing.
So, with the added finials, and then make sure it's 5 feet from the property line.
Yeah, we've already checked, the property line is based on the center of the sidewalk, and that's a 2-place sidewalk. So taking that, it's at least 14 foot back.
Okay, all right, very good. And there is a second?
Second, yes, please.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right,
All right, very
I will
good.
get that to Matt, then he can forward it to you as well. Thanks for your time, folks.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming by.
Okay, so the only, oh, sorry, you can read the item. I suppose. My bad, I jumped ahead.
It's okay. I have to wait till it comes up.
Thanks.
I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
Huh?
I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Okay, general discussion, downtown design guideline update, steering committee, and committee direction.
Okay, so Matt Flynn was here last month, he started to mock up some things related to the downtown design guideline, but I thought it was necessary to kind of get more of a formal process in place, and talked to Alderwoman McGinnis and Alderman Condon, who are absolutely happy to be on a steering committee as well. And I talked to Kyle Carter and Alicia Espew with the Downtown Davenport Partnership, who are also very, very willing. And then Evan had sent a separate email saying that he was also willing to serve on a steering committee. So I thought it might be best to kind of create more formal. I don't know if anybody else, I would say 2 to 3 design review board members would be nice to have on a steering committee related to the update. And then just some general guidance associated with what you envision as the overall goal for the steering committee. Do you want, how finished do you want something to be presented to design review board? Are we looking at, are there specific things that you would like to see revisited or updated? And then we can take that direction as a steering committee and staff and move forward with it. So
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I'd be happy to serve on that as well, and I also serve on the Downtown Partnership Board as well, so there's some crossover there. Assuming everybody is familiar with the guidelines, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to make sure everybody has reread those. And perhaps it would be helpful if and maybe more efficient if anybody that has any thoughts or suggestions we could email those to you, Laura,
Yeah, that
and
would
then
be
you
fine.
could compile a list, and that could be part of the conversation for that steering committee as sort of a starting point.
sure.
And I know that, excuse me, I know that the Downtown Partnership also has some thoughts when it comes to some maybe revisions or updates to some of that. But I think diving in is probably going to be the best way to just really get started with it, but I think making sure everybody has read it or reread it, reviewed it. would
So
be a good
was there
idea.
anybody else besides Dana and Evan that wanted to be involved in that process? And I figured that we could just do go-to meetings probably. So we can, once we have an idea of who's going to be involved, we can check with everybody to see what makes the most sense. I don't think it will be a lot of meetings. I think it would just be every so often as we kind of get through what was discussed the last steering committee meeting, and then we reconvene. So we don't necessarily have a time frame in mind for completing the updates at this point.
Has there been any conversation of rethinking the locations of review that we do? It seems rather inconsistent to me. We've got kind of the downtown, and then we've got Elmore and
The East Village.
the East Village.
That is, it was part of the zoning code, so it was directed through administration for the ones that are existing right now. That is a conversation that we can have, but I don't, it's not, it would have to come from city council.
I'm just curious why, like, 53rd isn't part of that, because there's so much construction going on 53rd.
I think that they're picking areas that have a lot. So for the downtown one, I think there was a lot of concern over what type of investment was going to happen in the downtown. You're aware of that, that it was kind of on the cusp of going one way or the other. And so they wanted to ensure that we were going to get higher quality design down there. The village is to protect the historic character of the village. And then the Elmore Corners one is to encourage a high-quality product for the city's investment in that road. So that was kind of the thought process there in envisioning what they wanted to see up there, because they invested in that road, and in order to help pay for the road, they want to increase the property values with higher quality product. So that's how those three areas came to be. Does that mean that there could be future areas later? It could be. It's something that has not been brought up recently. But that doesn't mean that it wouldn't come at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Brady Street and 53rd come to mind as areas that could potentially go the wrong way if not watched.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we need to do next?
So I already have an official from you and Evan. Is there anybody else that wants to be on the steering committee?
What
It's
if we
okay
needed a
if you don't.
bar?
It's okay if you don't. If you trust Dana and Evan. That's fine. And so I think that's all that we need, unless somebody has some feedback right now that they want to provide to the steering committee. We'll report back as we go through the process, because we're just formulating that group right now. So I don't think there's much more you need to do at this point.
I think, just from a historic standpoint, we've come a long way. I don't know, PJ, how long have we been in existence? You and I are.
Forever.
I think it might have been 2007 or 2008.
So we're charter members.
Yeah.
But we've come a long way, and I feel like we've been able to make some really, good decisions and really help to raise the bar. And I think that a lot of people are now they're working towards, they understand what they need to come with. It used to be we got lots of things on cocktail napkins and all kinds of crazy things. And I think the word is out what our expectation is, so
Right.
that's made a big difference. So thank you all in advance for your efforts going forward, and, yeah, we'll look to the group to guide us and get something scheduled, and I don't know if does anybody need a copy of the design guidelines? Could we?
Would you prefer hard copy? I could, it's available online, but I can print out hard copies if you want.
If you want to just send us the link to it,
Okay.
that'd be great. And then if you do want a hard copy, maybe just let Laura know. And then please take some time to go through that if you would. Make some notes, email them to Laura so we have a sense of where we're going. If something doesn't make sense, it's always great to have another set of eyes take a look at that.
Perfect.
All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about tonight?
That's all I have.
Okay, very good. Thanks all for coming. I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you. Do I get to use a gavel?
You can if you'd like.
It's the first time I've noticed it.
That was exciting.
I was in Des Moines on Friday and got to meet the governor.